Hello and welcome to SharpHR Career Corner with Karen Sharp Price. This podcast will inform and inspire you in your quest to find the right career path. If you're just starting out, looking to make a change in your field, or transitioning into a new career, then this podcast is for you. We will be sharing tips and providing resources on topics such as writing resumes, interviewing, using LinkedIn, and networking. We will take a look at different careers, companies, and opportunities. You will hear success stories from professionals in all career paths, and so much more. You will leave this podcast with 3 key takeaways that you can easily put into practice. Enjoy!
Hi everyone, and welcome to SharpHR Career Corner podcast. Today our guest is Jennifer Whitmarsh. Welcome, Jennifer. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. So we didn't tell anybody where you're from because we're going to talk about it later in the video. So this is going to be leading up to the suspense is going to kill everybody. But we're going to start back about 10 or 15 years. So you went to UB and your concentration was in mental health, possibly like health counseling. And I'm assuming you were thinking probably of counseling after you graduated. Is that what you were thinking about?
Yes. When I went to UB, I first started off as general. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but then I also knew something with people I really enjoyed. And that kind of naturally steered me towards mental health and psychology. And I've always just enjoyed people, not exactly knowing it at the time, but when you look back and you say to yourself, how did I get here, sort of thing? It makes more sense. It's that hindsight's 2020. Yeah. I just always enjoyed people and figuring them out and how do we work and how do we tick. So mental health naturally seemed like a good way to go.
Yeah, a good fit. So there must have come a time after graduation that you had to make some sort of career decision. And you had put a lot of time into a dry cleaning company up until that point. And I'm thinking that you probably had to make a choice somewhere to move either up the ladder or jump over and pursue a career now in counseling since you got the degree. And you chose dry cleaning. So can you tell us about that time? What was going through your head at that moment?
Yeah, I can pretty much vividly remember this conversation that I had with my partner at the time. And I worked in the dry cleaners for, at this point, maybe 5 years or so. And I literally, 22-year-old me or however old I was said, well, I have a degree now, so I've got to go get a big girl job and I got to go do something with my degree. Uh-huh. And at the time, my leader, didn't really want me to leave. And so offered me, more of a management position. And it was this moment where I go, okay, well, now what do I do? Because I graduated, I have this paper, I've got my student loans, but I also have something really great going here. And I'm really happy. I love what I do. And now I am still going to climb up that ladder a little bit. Just it ended up being a different ladder. It wasn't starting from the ground up anymore, so to speak, because that's what it would have been had I have chosen to hop into a mental health degree and find a career there. Right. So I just said to myself, it was kind of like a gut thing. And I know that that's tough because it's like, well, how do you know? It was really a gut thing. I said, I just think this is the right decision. I love what I do. And let's see. And worst case scenario, I changed my mind in a little bit, that's okay too. But that was really that moment of, well, he didn't want me to leave. And so I respected that option in and of itself. And I said, all right, let's try this out.
And that can be a really hard place to be, especially at 22 or whatever age you are at, listening to your gut and feeling right about something. And you had already put a lot of time in there. So they knew you knew them. It was comfortable. You knew what to do in the job. So I can see how you could, and there are a lot of people at the dry cleaners. So
yeah, yes, there are. And I get to talk to a lot of them. It's great.
That's right. So during COVID, now we're jumping ahead. You decided to leave that company, and that couldn't have been an easy decision because now you had been there over 16 years. Yeah. And it's really become your career at that point. So talk to us about that second big decision?
It was definitely tough to make that decision, I should say. My partner then at the time, because at this point now we're jumping ahead, and I was a partner in the business at this point. And my partner at the time, he wanted me to buy him out. I wanted to buy him out. And that was kind of something we've talked about long before COVID, a little bit here, a little bit there, when the timing was right, so to speak. And we just couldn't, we're still friends and we're still friendly, but we just couldn't come to an agreement of, okay, this is what's going to make the most sense. And obviously, of course, I didn't hide the fact that if we can't agree, I'm going to have to move forward in another direction. Of course, he knew that. So, and we just still couldn't make a 100% agreement. And ultimately, obviously, we parted ways. But like I said, we're still very friendly and we're friends. And that's also what made that decision easier, because we both knew there was no point of contention. Nobody was upset. We kind of knew this is it's for the greater good, so to speak. And it's okay. Those moments are okay, because you learn a lot in that moment. I might be veering off course a little bit, but I know having multiple times in my life where I have a big decision to make, when you hold yourself back, then you're stunting your growth. And when you have to kind of jump and move forward and just trust your gut a little bit again, that's when you're also going to continue to grow. And that's always very important, especially when you want to continue to grow throughout your career.
Yeah. So I can see that your counseling degree has helped you in many ways.
I believe it did. I've often said, like, as a joke, I use my degree every day, because you're talking to people every day. And a mental health degree certainly has come in handy.
Yeah, yeah. I think it can be used in many different areas. I remember when I was in human resources, I used to feel like at the end of the day, I should just have a shingle and be able to put it up outside my door, because I was dealing with people's problems all day long. And I wish that I had had more of a counseling background, because that was my majority of my day, was dealing with different people, different personalities, issues, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and that can get tiring. That can get difficult, right? Certainly.
Can get
exhausting. I don't need to tell
you. It can get exhausting. So we're going to stay in 2021 for a minute. So you decide to leave, and I think this next piece you were doing after you made that choice, but something interesting was happening with you, because you began posting on a daily basis, and I give you like an amazing amount of credit for doing this, because I can't think of enough things for 2 days a week, but you were doing it daily. Very short, little uplifting videos, some educational videos, some pro tips on care of the clothing, which was really very helpful. I mean, when I would watch yours, I'd be like, I never thought of that. And I believe that you did you do those videos for a year every day?
I did actually start those videos right when COVID hit. Like my first video, it was March 15th or 17th, somewhere right there, of 2020.
Wow.
And because I got back from and I was still at my other cleaners at the time.
Okay.
I got back from a family vacation that I take with my dad every year, and we were in Florida. So we were hearing about stuff, but we weren't hearing about it like our family and friends back in New York.
Yeah.
And when I got into work that Monday, I saw our numbers, and it was drastic. And I don't even know what came over me, because I was never a video person. I actually wouldn't put my face in the pictures. I'd hide my face somehow, some way. And I just asked the assistant manager at the time to, here, take my camera and let's just do a quick video. And it started with solely wanting to let people know that it's okay. The world we don't even know right now, but let's continue to stay positive. I mean, I know life can't always be rainbows and butterflies, and the more that we can embrace the rainbows and butterflies and not succumb to the time that it's not, I truly believe the better our day and life will be. So it very quickly turned into inspirational things, the tips, as you said, and then making fun of myself in the bloopers.
Yeah.
But just so people could have something relatable. And I knew everyone was home because no one was going anywhere, and
Right.
I didn't know how else to reach them other than social medias.
It really was a brilliant idea. It really was. And
Thank you.
so for those that are listening right now, if you follow Jennifer on social media, you may just see her like Monday motivational days, pro tip Tuesday days, thankful Thursday posts. I don't know if you're doing that now on a regular basis, but I do catch those in those tips. And I think that, wow, I mean, I don't know where do you get the time and the motivation and the energy for all that content?
So, and I must admit, like it has been tough at times. And I've said to myself, until someone says, until I go like a month where nobody reaches out and says something,
Uh-huh.
then maybe that'll be my cue. But I kid you not, Karen, I will be in the bank. I will be the last time I was at well, not one of the last times. It was a couple months ago, but it was such a fun experience. This guy was walking past me at a lawn fete, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I know you." I'm like, "Yeah, did you used to be a customer?" And I'm really good with faces, but it wasn't clicking. And he goes, "I watch you on LinkedIn." And I'm like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, wow. So I keep getting things like that. So that is what gives me motivation.
Yeah.
And, it's truly just I'm driving in my car and I thought of something and I'll write it down. I'll be physically doing something and a pop jumps in my head and I write it down. So, I mean, I literally, like, I keep it in my book and I write it down. Old school. This thing comes with me everywhere. And sometimes, and this is one of my favorite ones, is I'll ask my stepgirls, okay, what should our video be about today? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, and they think of something, and I go, that's completely relatable. I might change a few words, but the meat of the message is there. And that, I mean, I just ask my friends, I mean, anywhere. I draw the inspiration and motivation from anywhere that I can.
Well, you really you do a great job, and you just always so perky and and so and so happy about things that it honestly when you watch it, and then you have your phrase, which we'll talk about at the end, but it you can't not smile after you hear it.
Ah,
So
thank you.
I don't
That's a very
know.
high compliment.
Yeah, it really. So after you left your partner with the dry cleaning business, did you know what your next move was going to be at that time, or were you just gonna follow your gut?
I didn't, in the back of my mind, and I was, I talked with my husband too. And in the back of my mind, I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just know I've been in this industry for what feels like forever, more than half my life. I mean, for 19 years at this point.
Wow.
And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I did have they're called the Route Pros. It's a consulting group that reached out to me. And
Oh,
I
okay.
thought, geez, okay, it's still in our industry. They wanted me to consult on customer service with, their team members. We're a nationwide consulting group. It's the
Wow.
three of us, but I said, that might be exactly what's supposed to happen. And it essentially fell in my lap. And though, Karen, to talk about the videos, they found me through the videos
Did they
and they just
really?
thought it was so creative.
Yeah.
And so they asked me to be a consultant and I said, sure, And so at this point in time, I'm doing something in our industry, just not exactly what I thought I was going to be doing in our industry. So it was
So
really unique.
it's amazing, and so that's a lesson for people too, that you were doing something kind of for the good of everybody. We were in the middle of a pandemic. You were just trying to kind of share happiness and motivation, even if it was just for a minute or two a day. But what that led to, like, who would think?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? So
Yeah.
isn't that something? So I should have a drum roll right now. So you have some exciting news to share. So please share.
Yes. So the very exciting news is I am starting my own dry cleaners from scratch.
That's a huge undertaking, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yes. Yes. To say the least.
Yeah. So what's the name of it?
So it's called Snappy Dry Cleaning.
Okay.
And
And what
yep.
else? What does it take these days to open up a dry cleaning company? Like I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more than people would think. But it takes a lot, but mostly it takes a lot of courage, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of equipment that you need, the amount of, and just to do the basics. I'm not building some massive plant. I'm building a little bit bigger than what I need so we can make sure we're ready for growth. But the amount of machinery and the amount of technology and, being creative, we're going to have a open concept dry cleaners. So if you think about it, many cleaners, when you walk into them, you don't even know what's going on in the background. You hear noises, but you don't see anything.
Yeah.
You guys will soon see that when you walk into Snappy, you can't not see everything. It is very cool. Open concept. And it's really neat. But I don't think I've talked to many other dry cleaners, the owners, I should say, and many of them started with zero experience. They just were like, and this is going back many years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, thank goodness I do have the knowledge and experience, because I can't imagine starting without the knowledge and experience. But it does take a lot of work. And even just to produce one piece, there's a lot of steps in just one piece.
So when do you think will be the official opening day or week or month?
We are shooting and aiming and striving for November of 2022. So
right
soon.
Around the corner.
Yes, right around the corner. We're
So,
like this close.
So you were talking about like the open concept. What other things will make you stand out from other dry cleaning companies, do you think?
Well, let alone just being able to physically walk in there and see.
Yeah, that's cool.
We want to be as transparent with our clients as much as we can. Most people don't understand what it takes when you drop off your dress, it just appears ready to wear and you don't know what happens to it. Yeah. We really want to educate our customers, and not in the sense that they're going to start to run their own cleaners, but just so they know that their piece is being taken care of. Because whether it is a graduation, a job promotion, you're going to do a podcast, a God forbid situation, whatever garment that you're wearing those clothes to, we want to make sure that you're ready and you feel confident, and you don't have to worry about it when you unwrap it out of that bag if there's a missing button or if there's a spot that didn't get done. We want to make sure that we are as communicative with our customers as we can be, because there's nothing worse than opening up that package, going to a wedding or something, and there's a spot right there. Or something, so we want to do whatever we can to avoid those kinds of situations.
Wow. Well, I mean, it sounds really exciting. Where are you going to be located?
So the physical address is 4313 Transit Road in Williamsville.
Okay.
But for most of our listeners and viewers, the corner of Main and Transit, right at that corner in the Transit Town Plaza.
And I have seen that because I go to that gym right there.
Yes. Okay. Yep. It's an amazing plaza, and there's been so much happening even since we have been building the cleaners in that plaza. There have been so many amazing other businesses coming in there. It is a busy plaza.
Yeah, it's a great corner. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll have our drive-through, so you don't have to get out of your car.
That's
if you
nice.
want to pick up or drop off at the drive-through, you can do that.
Boy, that's got to be a big window.
It is. It's literally a sliding glass door. Like, that's how big you need it.
Oh, okay.
You gotta get those comforters in and out, and customers don't have to get out of their car. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So now you're going through an amazing transition into not only it's not a new career, but a new position, ownership of something that is totally yours. What advice, what 3 pieces of advice would you give women who are thinking about following their dreams and owning their own business someday?
It's tough to boil it down to 3, but I will do my best.
Okay.
And the first things that pop into my head is maybe one of the most obvious, but don't give up. There are many hurdles and many unexpected things that you don't anticipate that, quite frankly, will make you want to go, this isn't it.
Yeah.
But don't give up, because we know the results if we do. If you keep pushing through and know that that situation's temporary and that obstacle is temporary, you will overcome it and succeed. And also, in order to stay that way, you got to stay positive. So in order to push through those things, you have to stay positive. Even when it doesn't feel like you have a smile left, just even put a fake smile on, because it will boost your mood. I mean, literally, there's been times I've had to do that because it's tough. Yeah. And I would say my number one would be to always rise above. There are going to be times that not the best version of yourself might want to shine through because of the frustrations, because of the hardships. Always rise above. You never know who you're going to be chatting with. You never know who you're talking to. And again, if we're not the best version of ourselves, that doesn't put us in a good light. Always rise above. Don't stoop to any other level. Always rise above.
Wow. And those are sometimes hard to do. And I think reminding yourself that you can do this is probably one of the toughest things. And sometimes you have to gather people around you that can kind of build you up and remind you of those things from time to time as well.
Completely agree. Yeah. Surrounding yourselves with individuals even better than yourself, that's just going to make you naturally be able to rise above, for sure.
Well, I'm very excited for this snappy dry cleaning. In fact, I know it's been a long time coming, and there's been a lot of work and a lot of things that you have to prepare for. So I think that, Williamsville as a whole, and Clarence, because you're right kind of on the border. Now, are you considered Clarence or are you considered Williamsville?
I'm actually considered Clarence.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm considered Clarence.
Yeah. So Williamsville and Clarence will be waiting for snappy dry cleaning to open. How will you make the big call for it when it finally opens? How will we know?
The big reveal. It'll be all over social medias for sure. Okay. That will be the number one. And then, of course, maybe a month later, we will do some sort of mailer to let the people around us know as well. We will have a big launch party, once we get our feet wet a little bit, make sure we get all the hiccups out. We'll have a big launch party where we'll have prizes and gifts and things like that. I almost like to say you won't be able to get away from knowing that we're open because it's going to be everywhere and anywhere that we can put it.
Good. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me today and talking about your career journey. I think it's fascinating. And I think, one of the things that pops out is you really have to listen to your gut, and your gut does talk. It does. You really do have to listen to it. So thank you very much for talking today, and best of luck to Snappy Dry Cleaning. It's going to be exciting.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And if you enjoy SharpHR Career Corner podcast, I would be honored if you would leave a review wherever you listen to it. Reviews help us be seen by more people, and thank you in advance. Until next time, be kind, everyone. We need to show a lot more kindness in the world, and it starts with you and I. And as Jennifer would always say when she closes, have a happy day, have a safe day, and have a clean day, and we will see you soon. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.